Bless those who taught at Rowan and those who learned at Rowan. Be with all of us as we leave this place this night. We may share your love with every single person we meet. All this we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Hudson, you all saw Liz here tonight, who was partisan education. You know the lady for the longest time, state line. She said, well, Rose, it's a big job. And I told her tonight, I don't know if it was a big job or not, but it was a big blessing. And I am so glad to see all of you all.
Miss Thomas is still bossing me around. Mamie Thomas put a time limit on my speech. Matter of fact, the first story of this evening will be that of Mamie Thomas. Mamie Thomas came into my office, looked at me, and she said, I was here when you got here, and I'll be here when you go. And she was right. Just a little bit of Rowan history. You know, Rowan really is not like any other school. I looked across this room and the talent in this room, I'm gonna just be honest with you, we really could start our own school and some kids would get real educated real quick. And it's a lot of talent in here. And I really want to speak a little bit about that talent real quickly as we deal with the history. You know, prior to Mr. Tillman's tenure was extremely historical because he was extremely community-minded, so much so that when you pass that crosswalk, you got to thank Charles H. Tillman. Y'all give him a hand, and he's still
I take Xavier sometime. She just sent him to the office. I had to go downtown to the superintendent's office. I said, come on, boys, get in my truck. Take him on downtown. And we talked on the way and on the way back. You have to show some love. Marshall is just fine, but you have to show love with it. Kids need to know, number one, I'm going to be quiet. They need to know you truly care. Thank you.
Speaking of history, and I want to make sure that I see the display, but we have history here with one of our former principals, and that's Mr. Tillman. In speaking about the crosswalk, and before the crosswalk was, put into place, some children, what I'm told, used to cross, just go across the tracks and lost their limbs, what have you. Mr. Tillman used to work with a group. What was that group, Mr. Tillman? That's it. That's right. And we all took a part in that. And we helped build up that community. And that crosswalk is named after him in honor of Mr. Tillman. And we worked very diligently.
There are so many memories. Rowan will always hold a special place in my heart. Rowan was my first principalship after transitioning from Bailey Macon High School as the assistant principal. I can remember getting out of the car, being greeted by the neighbor across the street, Mr. Powell, who runs the museum. The first day coming in, saying, where are the buses? And I didn't see any buses. Then I saw 100 students coming down the street in a herd, just walking towards me. A true community school. The most memorable moment that I have, there was a bulletin board out front of the principal's office. And during that time, I have to give credit to Miss Bell. Where's Miss Bell? Miss Bell saved a lot of the memorabilia and history from Rowan. A lot that dealt with the crosswalk from Mr. Tillman. Miss Jackson and I got together in an Ask for More Arts project. And our students were, in hearing the school, the numbers starting to decline and dwindle, they wanted to know the history of the school. That they, came up with the project on their own to actually research a lot of it. So we put in a petition. We actually sent them to the Mississippi Museum, Archives Museum, and they had the information from the bulletin board that Ms. Bell actually put together. So I'm walking in, the receptionist there asked our students, well, where did you get this information? We didn't have any information in the state of Mississippi on Rowan Middle School. All they heard stories from their parents that Rowan used to be Lanier High School. They had heard about students walking across the crosswalk before the overpass was built. So in doing that, they were a little frustrated because they got back to the school and they couldn't find any information. Well, I like to call it the Googler. Now they have Google. But they went back to the website and they continued to do their research. And they actually found a young man who was keeping up with information from the first black African American schools across the states, across all states. And they found the first picture of Lanier High School before Rowan was built. Well, when they petitioned the city didn't have records either. Because, of course, the address for Rowan is 136 East Ash Street. They were actually looking for a place at that time that did not exist because Rowan was under 138 East Ash Street, which is Miss Rhodes' home. But to make a long story short, they actually, the lady from the Archives and History Museum tracked our students and kept up with them. And they put together a lot of information. They found a wealth of information. And those 3 panels are actually on display tonight, right in the foyer as you leave out. I encourage you to look at that piece because the information that's on that board is the history of Rowan. It's just a snippet of it or a snapshot. But now that information is actually filed in the Mississippi Archives and Museum. So that's powerful to me.
This is our top watchdog, y'all, from Rowan Middle School.
Good evening, everyone. I got to excuse me, but Dad brought back memories. He kind of been really about the discipline part, because during that time he had a assistant principal called Mr. Carroll. Mr. Carroll had a forearm like Popeye the Sailor Man. When he hits you, better believe you gonna know. I really was a problem kid, and him and other teachers, Ms. Anderson, Ms. Middleton, and the rest of them, they used to see in kids like me what we didn't see in ourselves. And they stayed, I must say, they were firm about it, because the only issue was we weren't applying to what they seen in us and our abilities. Mr. Tillman called him Dad. To this day, there's a movie out, and I would encourage each and one of you all to watch this movie, because this is a prime example movie of Rowan and Mr. Charles Tillman. The name of the movie is Lean On Me. That is a prime example during the 70s at Rowan. I mean, Mr. Tillman didn't play. Now, I used to love to go to his office when it was time to get the paddle because he always walked around with that yardstick. And you know, Mr. Carroll used to hit you, I used to do all that. I go in there out, you know, he says, now you know better, like he said, he preaching everything, you walk around, come back in, he said, put your hand on the desk. Put my hand on the desk, he got the little yardstick. I'm doing it. He said, now you know, doggone well, this ain't gonna stats. He said, pop, pop, we come to class. But I must say,
about 5 years, I guess, transition. But we have some young people in here. Don't lose your desire to teach, regardless of where you teach. If you leave JPS, that's fine, still don't lose your desire. If you stay in JPS, don't lose your desire. Because you never know who you're going to impact. You never know who you're going to impact. Some of my parents were students of mine. And what do they say? Oh, Miss McIntyre, I remember this. Where's Miss Kennedy? Where's Miss Thomas? Where are they? Why are they doing? Where's Miss Gilliam? They mentioned all those names because you made an impact. The impact was made. So just don't teach just for teaching's sake. It's not a job. It's a calling. And if you're doing it because it's a job, please leave it because you're not doing a good job. I can tell you that right now. If you're just in education just because you can't go anywhere else, you need to find another place because you're doing the students a disjustice. Because when you leave this profession, you want to have made an impact. And your impact should be beyond the years that you taught. It should impact their children and their children's children. So really, you know, take the education to heart. Don't just do it the 7:30 to 3:30. You can't do it between 7:30 and 3:30. You have to extend yourself and make it a commitment because you will be blessed beyond blessings. You may not see it at times when you have the little child running around, you can't get them to sit down, and you know, you just have a stressful day and your principal's telling you to do these lesson plans that are 20 pages long for the week, and you know, you just, it looks like it's never going to end, but it will. Look at the bounty at the end. Look at the big picture. What kind of picture?
Ladies in that particular program to go on to become professional models. We have an outbreak of that program which is called Jody Models. And you may have seen some type of programs that Jody Models have done in the fashion show with Hunter Jackson. But we developed a special relationship with St. Andrews and with Rosalie and them coming every year working with the young ladies and working with the special programs. And advice was one of the persons who we worked with very closely. Yeah, who helped us to develop the fashion board. But we had a lot of fun. After 10 years, I left and went to Chastain. Rowan was a very personal, working at Rowan was personal, it was a small family. So when I went to Chastain, we had 1,300 students, and I was like, Lord have mercy, 1,300 students.
There's not been, in every faculty meeting, of every meeting I've ever been to, and they, you know, well, I was going to mess with Ms. Troy, but they did get shorter, you know, sometimes, but, you know, but family is what Rowan has always been called. And there's something amazing about that place. And, you know, when you talk about kids and you know, we have so many teachers. I think that is what's amazing to me is how many of our kids are teachers. Marilyn Sawyer, you know, sent me a message the other day, said, I want to go back to Brown, Miss Thomas. You know, and I'm just like, yeah, you need to go back and be the interventionist. You know, they need you. You know, oh gosh, anyway, there's just too many. And
I said, what? Yo, I'm supposed to go back to Rowan. He said, I picked you up. I started crying. I don't want to go to Rowan. You don't want to go to Rowan. I told Miss Muir that I would come back to Rowan because we had a nice group there, and I would go back to Rowan. But when I got to Rowan, I fell in love about the big family. She called me and begged me. She said, the principal has a spot for you. I said, I'm not coming back to Rowan. I'm staying in Rowan. I stayed there 24 years. I enjoyed every bit of it. enjoyed the students, and you could discipline the students. You could discipline them. And we had backup support. I worked through 5 principals. I said, I'm not going any place, just like Mamie said, they're going to be first. So I stayed through 5 principals, and I enjoyed my tenure at Rowan, but I just wanted to tell you that, Mr. Thomas, that I did cry. But I didn't regret any moment that I spent at Rowan. Wonderful, wonderful school. Clean school. I've never been in a building that was so clean.
When I first came to Rowan, I had 4 years out in Rankin County, so it was a culture shock. I was like, Lord, what have I gotten myself into? And, you know, I was being observant, trying to learn some things, and Mr. Twiner was a principal, but there were 4 people that ran the building. Ms. Middleton, Ms. Amerson, Ms. Thomas, and Ms. Brooks. That's right. And they were kind of scattered throughout the building, so, you know, and I noticed them, you know, I sure want to be like them, because they could not be anywhere near their classroom, and class went on. As a 4-year teacher, I did not have those skills.
Good evening, everybody. The real Peavy. I was a music teacher, core music teacher at Rowan for about 6.5 years. And I can attest to this fact, if you made it at Rowan, you could make it anywhere. Because although the children were challenging, all you had to do was find out, just look kind of deep into them, like as some of you all have alluded to tonight, who spoke, and you just find that special something in them, and you just pinpoint that special something, because all of them are special. And one of my biggest problems was, I would pick the student that nobody else would give an opportunity to. And I remember this one child by the name of Demars. I don't know if some of y'all, what is it? Anyway, let me say this. But I heard Demars just humming one time. Because we do a Christmas musical every year at Rowan while I was there. Okay, Miss Jackson said, that's just a musical. It was a production here. But I heard Demars humming just a minute. Demars was a nervous fella. And I said, Demars, I said, won't you try this out for me? And he stuttered. He said, Miss Biffy, you sure? I said, yeah, Demars, try this out for me. And I let him sing the song. And after we did the production, that kid's whole attitude changed. But, watch this. After we did the production, he came to me and he said, Mr. Peavy, I'm getting ready to give me some braces and some contact lenses. Now, you talking about an image change, because he had glasses about thick as mine. And I said, why? Why? He said, because I think I want to be a singer. They always told me, you know how to mess them up, Mr. Peavy. So he went over to Bailey, was it Bailey? And he auditioned for the choir. And he didn't make it. And he told the choir director, you don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Peavy told me I can sing.
The family feeling is there. Now, to show you how strong the family feeling is, and that's why I didn't want to get up. My daughter has been in the hospital for almost 2 months, and I've been there with her every night. And it really took a lot to pull me away from her. But when I heard what Ruth was needing, my daughter said, Mama, you'll never forgive yourself if you don't go. So here I am, and God knows I've enjoyed it. I've seen people here today that I haven't seen in many, many years. And some I'll probably never see again, Because let's face it, some of us are way up there now.
From what the seeds that you planted will give us a better community to live in. And we will go forward and be a greater Jackson. But my reason for being here tonight is because of Rose Lee. I used to always tell Rose Lee this. I said, Rose Lee, I'm not a Christian, but if ever I would become a Christian, I would be just like Rose Lee. Now look at this spread that has come about. But Rose Lee has dedicated herself to Rowan. And when this lady drove up that morning and lifted that cargo, that trunk, and was lifting those boxes out of there, I said, Powell, what kind of person are you if you let that lady carry that stuff in that room and you don't help her? And I asked her, can I help you? And she said, yes.
He's been doing it.
I've been there ever since. I walk out my front door like at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. It's Wednesday, and I know Rose Lee is driving up. And there I am to visit with Rose. And we worked on a lot of good community projects together. And one of the most competitive people you will ever encounter, and you know this, when we started with that playground. Oh my God. We went out to public school there, Dexter Park. And they had a little walking trail around that thing, and Rose Lee saw that, but she said, nothing like this gonna come to Rowan. Rose Lee went out, got 2 architects to draw up plans, PowerPoint, did the whole 9 yards, and had it a layout. At a price tag that would just blow your mind, but she was determined to make that project work. But in the course of time, we run into problems, and so did Rowan run into its problems. Or did it go a step beyond? But it had to come to an end. And what an ending. What an ending. Ask me what I missed? No, because the ending was so great. Rose, we will always love you.